During Sunday dinner, my wife laughed when her sister said she settled for me. That was the moment I realized I was the only one protecting our marriage. I've always believed that families show their real faces at the dinner table. Not during birthdays or holidays. Those are rehearsed performances. But during the ordinary rituals, shared meals, familiar plates, the small jokes everyone pretends not to be tired of. That Sunday, I walked into my wife's sister's home with the kind of cautious optimism you bring to a dentist appointment. Not excited, not dreading it, just hoping for minimal damage. My wife, Laura, squeezed my hand on the way in. A light, perfunctory squeeze. A gesture she used to give with warmth and intention. Now it felt like muscle memory. The dining room was already loud. Clinking utensils, her niece shouting about a school project, her sister, Monica, giving orders like a general with a wooden spoon. Her brother-in-law nodded at me with his usual quiet tolerance, the kind men exchange when they've married into the same storm. "Hey, you two finally made it," Monica said, brushing past me to check the roast. She didn't hug me. She rarely did. I used to think it was just her personality. Over time, I started noticing she hugged everyone else. We sat, Laura beside me, Monica across from me, positioned like an opposing attorney. The meal began innocently. Safe topics. Work. Weather. Some story about Laura's niece winning an award. I chimed in when appropriate, careful not to dominate the conversation. One of Monica's long-standing complaints. Then the shift happened. It wasn't big. It never is. Someone mentioned relationships. Her brother-in-law joking about forgetting their anniversary, and Monica giving him a rehearsed look of mock indignation. That's when she turned to me with a smirk I'd seen too many times. "Honestly," she said, slicing through her roast like it offended her, "you're so lucky Laura settled for someone like you." It hit with the kind of precision that only long-term disrespect can produce. The casual cruelty, the intentional framing, the unspoken "we all know she could have done better." I waited for Laura to counter it, or deflect, or just say something soft like, "Monica, cut it out." But she didn't. She laughed. Not a nervous laugh. Not a conflicted one. A real laugh, short and bright, like Monica had said something clever. I felt something in my chest shift, not break, not snap, just reposition, like a piece sliding into a place it had been moving toward for a long time. I smiled, because smiling was easier than revealing the small, precise wound she'd just opened. "You know what?" I said, picking up my water glass. "You're right." The table went quiet for a half-second, the kind of silence that follows a comment no one fully understands yet. Laura looked at me, waiting for the joke. There was always supposed to be a joke, but I didn't offer one. Instead, I stood. "Excuse me," I said. "I'll be back in a bit." No raised voice. No dramatic flourish. Just quiet certainty. Laura frowned as I grabbed my coat. "Where are you going?" "Dinner just started." "To take care of something," I said. I didn't elaborate. I walked to the car with a strange calmness, a clarity I hadn't felt in months. Maybe years. I drove across town to Mark's office, my attorney. I'd retained him months ago for unrelated financial concerns, but he'd told me, "If the marriage ever reaches a point where you feel unseen, unheard, or unprotected, call me. We'll prepare options." I called him that afternoon. He answered on the second ring. "Is this the moment?" he asked. "Yes," I said quietly. He didn't ask for details. He didn't need them. Within an hour, the papers were printed, clean, final, heavy in the way truth sometimes is. When I returned to Monica's house, the sky had darkened. The windows glowed warm, domestic, deceitfully peaceful. I walked back inside. The family looked up, forks midair. Laura stood halfway, visibly irritated, as if my absence had been a minor social inconvenience. "Where did you?" she began. I placed the envelope on the table in front of her. It slid across the wood, stopping just shy of her plate. Her eyes dropped, registered the header, then shot back up to mine in shock. No longer irritated, no longer complacent. And for the first time in a long time, she had nothing to say. Laura stared at the envelope like it was a live grenade. Her fingers hovered above it, trembling slightly, barely noticeable to anyone else, but I'd lived with those hands for 8 years. I knew every tremor, every twitch, every tiny hesitation she tried to hide. What is this?" she asked, her voice thin. Monica leaned forward, eyes sharp with curiosity, the same way she watched reality show confrontations. "Probably something stupid," she muttered. I ignored her. It's exactly what you think it is, I said calmly. Laura's eyes widened. You're kidding. Tell me you're kidding. I didn't blink. Open it. She didn't. Because she already knew. Anyone who's been skirting the edge of disrespect for months can recognize the moment the ground beneath them finally gives out. Her brother-in-law leaned back, uncomfortable. Her niece stared at her plate. Monica, of course, chose violence. Divorce papers? She scoffed. Over a joke? God, you're sensitive. The irony almost made me laugh. Sensitive, after years of being the family punching bag. Sensitive, after being the designated target of her casual jabs, the butt of her teasing, the outsider at every gathering. Sensitive, after watching my own wife laugh at my expense in front of her family more than once. Laura swallowed hard. Can we talk outside? Alone? No, I said. Not yet. Her face tightened. You're making a scene. I met her eyes. Your sister made the scene. You applauded it. Monica slammed her fork down. Oh, please. You're acting like you're some kind of saint. Grow up. I turned to her, not raising my voice, not giving her the reaction she wanted. You've been disrespectful to me since the day I joined this family. I tolerated it because I thought Laura would have enough backbone to say something eventually. Today she proved she won't. Laura flinched. That's not. It was a stupid joke. No, I said evenly. It wasn't. It was the moment I realized I'm the only one in this marriage defending me. Silence fell again. Heavy, uncomfortable, real. Laura finally opened the envelope with trembling hands. She skimmed the pages, color draining from her face. You already had this prepared? I had the option prepared. I corrected. I hoped I'd never use it. Her voice cracked. And you chose to use it because Monica joked. Stop, I cut in. Don't rewrite it. You didn't forget to defend me. You laughed. You enjoyed the moment. That told me everything. Her lower lip quivered. Can we talk? Privately. After you answer one question, I said. She blinked. What question? I looked directly at her, ignoring the others. When Monica said you settled, why did you laugh? Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. Because there is no easy answer to that question. Not for someone who's been quietly disrespecting their partner for months. Not for someone who's been slipping emotionally out of the marriage inch by inch, thinking the other person wouldn't notice. Finally, she whispered, I don't know. You do, I said. You just don't want to say it in front of them. Her eyes filled. The room shifted as the family watched the facade crumble. Monica's satisfaction faltered. Even she sensed the tone had changed into something she couldn't joke through. Laura wiped her face with her sleeve, her voice shaking. Can we please go outside? Please. I hesitated for a long moment. Long enough for her to understand that she wasn't in control of the situation anymore. Then I nodded once. Let's talk. We walked to the backyard patio. The cold air hitting us as the door shut behind us. She wrapped her arms around herself, but didn't speak yet. She waited. I waited. For once, the silence belonged to me. The cold outside wasn't harsh, but it felt sharper than it should have. Maybe because there was finally nothing cushioning the truth between us. Laura stood a few feet away, rubbing her hands together, her breath unsteady. I don't know why I laughed, she started, voice cracking. It was stupid. I wasn't thinking. Yes, I said calmly. You were. She stopped. Not because she agreed, but because she recognized this version of me. The one who didn't raise his voice, didn't argue, didn't plead. The one who spoke like he had already accepted the outcome. That scared her more than yelling ever could. You've been distant, I continued. Not just today. Months. Maybe a year. I asked you what was going on, and you always said nothing. She looked down. And every time your family dug into me, I added, you stayed silent. Or you joined in. That's not fair, she whispered. It's accurate. Her eyes filled. You think I don't love you? I think you stopped respecting me, I said. And you didn't notice. Or care. That broke her composure. Tears came fast, sudden, the kind that carried denial and realization together. I don't want a divorce, she said, stepping closer. Please, we can fix this. Just talk to me. Tell me what you need. I exhaled. What I need is a partner, I said. Someone who doesn't treat me like a prop for family entertainment. Someone who doesn't let her sister belittle me. Someone who doesn't laugh when I'm being mocked. I wasn't mocking you, she protested. It was a small moment. I finished for her. But small moments show what's underneath. She grabbed my hand, desperate. Please don't leave. I'm sorry. I swear I'll talk to Monica. I'll shut down her crap. I'll do better. Just don't walk away from this. I didn't pull my hand away. Not yet. I just looked at her, really looked at her. In the dim porch light, I saw the woman I loved. And the woman who'd been slowly rejecting parts of me without saying it out loud. Both were real. Both lived in her. I didn't drive to my lawyer's office because of Monica, I said finally. I drove because something inside me snapped when you laughed. It wasn't rage, it was clarity. She flinched. I realized you see me differently than I see you, I continued. Or differently than you pretend to see me. That's not true. Then why laugh? I asked again, softly but directly. She stared at me, lips trembling, eyes red. And this time, she didn't answer. Not because she didn't know, but because the truth would be uglier said aloud. Perfect silence. Then, through the sliding door, her sister's voice broke the air. Is he still being dramatic? Laura closed her eyes like the words physically hurt. I stepped back. That right there, I said quietly, is what you've allowed. She reached for me again, panicked. Please, please don't do this. Don't let her ruin us. She didn't, I said. You did. Her knees weakened, her breath collapsing into sobs. I turned toward the driveway, ready to walk away, not because I didn't care, but because caring had stopped protecting me a long time ago. Then she said something that made me pause mid-step. Wait, please, don't serve the papers yet. Let's talk to a counselor. A real one. Not my family. Not Monica. Just us. I looked at her over my shoulder. She was begging, broken, shaken in a way that wasn't fake. And part of me, the part that had built a life with her, hesitated. Talk to my attorney, I said slowly, and he'll explain the options. She shook her head violently. No, I want to talk to you. To fix this with you. But I didn't answer. I walked to my car, leaving her standing there in the cold, her sobs muffled by the night. I didn't leave because I stopped loving her. I left because I finally understood how badly I'd let myself be treated. And that realization hits harder than any insult, any laugh, any joke. Update 1. I didn't sleep the night I served the papers. Not because I doubted what I'd done, but because clarity has its own kind of insomnia. I stayed at a short-term rental my attorney had arranged in advance. Clean, minimal, quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that forces you to confront all the echoes you've been ignoring for years. Laura called 12 times that night. Texted twice as many. None of it angry, just frantic. Please come home. We need to talk. I'll set boundaries with Monica. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. Please don't give up on us. I didn't respond. Not because I wanted to punish her, because anything I said in that moment would have been emotional, reactive, and I needed to stay rational. My attorney, Grant, met me the next morning with coffee and a manila folder so thick it looked like a book. We're keeping this simple, he said. Clean split. Amicable if she cooperates. Protective if she doesn't. Protective. A word I'd never applied to myself before this entire mess started. I'd spent years protecting Laura from things, stress, problems, decisions, expectations, but never once considered I might need protection from her. Not physical harm, but emotional erosion. Slow, steady, almost invisible. Grant outlined communication rules. No direct arguments. Everything documented. Everything written. No in-person talk unless he was present. I agreed to all of it. By noon, Laura had found where I was staying. She recognized the parking permit on the dash. She knocked on the door with shaking hands. Please, she whispered when I opened it. Please talk to me. She looked exhausted. Mascara smudged. Eyes red. Her voice so soft it barely reached me. I stepped aside but didn't invite her in. She took that as permission and stepped inside anyway. The room felt too small for the two of us. I didn't sign anything, she said immediately, holding out the papers like a wounded animal offering proof of survival. I need to understand why you did this before anything. You do understand? I said. No, she insisted. I know I messed up. I know I should have shut Monica down. I get that. But divorce? Over that. I stayed silent. She swallowed. You think I don't respect you. I think you stopped noticing the ways you hurt me, I said. And that scares me more than anything. Her face broke. I didn't. I swear I didn't realize. I should have. I should have stood up for you. I should have told Monica to stop. I should have taken your side. I should have. She covered her face with both hands, shaking. And for the first time in a long time, I saw her, not the version of her filtered through her family's jokes, Not the one who stayed silent when they jabbed at me. Just her. Scared. Ashamed. Human. You laughing wasn't the first red flag, I said quietly. It was the last one. She lowered her hands. I want to fix this, she whispered. And not because I'm scared of divorce. Because I love you. Because I've taken you for granted. Because I was stupid. Because I turned into someone I don't want to be. I didn't look away. And if I walked back into that house today, I asked, what would Monica say? Laura closed her eyes. She didn't need to answer. We both knew. And what would you do? I pressed. She opened her eyes again, wet, determined. I'd tell her to shut up, she said. And if she didn't, I'd walk out with you. That hit harder than I expected. For the first time, it felt like she wasn't defending them. She was defending us. But I wasn't ready to forgive. Not yet. Not because I wanted power over her, but because healing isn't instantaneous. Respect doesn't grow back overnight. Talk to your lawyer, I said softly. We don't have to rush anything. We don't have to finish anything right now. But space is non-negotiable. She nodded, small, broken, but understanding. Then she whispered the last thing I expected. Can you just not hate me? I exhaled. I don't hate you, I said. I just can't keep losing myself to make this marriage work. She cried again, quiet, controlled this time. Then she left, closing the doors softly behind her. The silence settled. Except now, it didn't feel empty. It felt like a turning point. Not reconciliation. Not closure. Something in between. The hardest place to stand.